This is the Christmas Movie Screenwriter Podcast, episode number 37. Hello and welcome to the Christmas Movie Screenwriter Podcast. I'm your host, Karen McCann. The Christmas Movie Screenwriter is a podcast about writing, producing, directing, and selling Christmas movies. You can find a transcript, show notes, and an action checklist on my website. Just go to christmasmoviescreenwriter.com and look for this episode, which is number 37. Quick few words about what I'm working on. I am shortlisting ideas for my next Christmas script, and I'm also writing a prequel to my debut novel as a reader magnet. So lots of writing ahead. And now here is the main segment. Eric Jarboe founded and serves as the co-CEO of Happy Accidents, along with partner and co-CEO Holly Hines. With Hines, Jarboe manages all creative and financial aspects of the studio. Prior to Happy Accidents, Jarboe served as the Chief Operating Officer of Motion Picture Corporation of America, MPCA. At MPCA, Jarboe managed a variety of financial and creative aspects of all MPCA productions. During his tenure at MPCA, Jarboe executive produced over 130 films and 125 episodes of scripted television. Some of Jarboe's producer highlights include 9 of Netflix's first original Christmas films, including the franchises The Princess Switch, starring Vanessa Hudgens, and A Christmas Prince, starring Rose McIver. Jarboe also produced the Darrow and Darrow franchise, starring Kimberly Williams Paisley, the Flower Shop Mysteries franchise, starring Brooke Shields, the Crossword Mysteries, starring Lacey Schubert, the Murder She Baked franchise on Hallmark, starring Allison Sweeney, and the Wedding March franchise, starring Jack Wagner. Well, Eric, that's quite a resume, and thank you for coming on the Christmas Movie Screenwriter Podcast today.
Karen, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, why don't you just take a minute? I told the audience a bit about you, but take a minute and tell us about yourself and your business.
Sure. Well, I'm a producer mostly in scripted series and film. To date, I've done about 140 films, including
Wow.
10 at the new shop Happy Accidents that I launched 2 years ago with Holly. And we are a full deficit financing studio. And we develop, we finance, we produce, we distribute. We have our own in-house sales
Wow.
team that distributes
Wow.
around the world. We love making content. It's a great industry to be in if you're so fortunate to be in it. And it can be a challenging industry at some times. So we're trying to put the word happy in the culture,
Okay.
because it just, we're making fiction, we're not saving lives, we're not having fun, then we're not doing it right. And then on top of that,
Right.
the accidents part of it is, look, a lot of what we do is there's a lot of change, and the plan doesn't always kind of execute perfectly. And there's all these things that
Wow.
always pop up when we're producing. So you always have to kind of do your best with what you have, and you have to pivot a lot of times. But that's what kind of gets things done. So that's kind of how we come up with the name Happy Accident.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It's very, it's, it's very joyous. I love it. Now,
We're
let's talk a
trying.
little bit
So
of,
thank you.
yeah. Now, let's talk a little bit about Christmas scripts. What are some key elements that you look for in a Christmas screenplay that would motivate you to produce it?
Sure. You know, couple things. Christmas has to be intrinsic to the story. Someone can't have wrote some other script and then, put some Christmas trees in the background or something and say it's Christmas. But a lot of our Christmas movies do have a central romance. That's actually a big theme. It's not 100% all the time, but it's the vast majority of the time. And on top of that, look, we're looking for generally a relationship with two people. You can make the argument all rom-coms are two people meet each other, fall in love, have a misunderstanding, make up and get back together again. But we like to look for scripts where each individual really changes the other person in a meaningful way and a positive way. We generally look for uplifting things, but there has to be a real emotional impact and a real change. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for.
Okay, that really nails it. So that's good to hear. Now, how would you advise writers how would they avoid sounding formulaic and make their scripts stand out to you?
That's a hard question, because we are making we are making, the I think the industry as a whole is putting out several hundred Christmas scripts or movies a year.
Ooh.
I don't have the latest stat, but I think it's well over 100 movies, a little over 100 movies a year are coming out.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of them can feel at times a little similar, right? And so I think you have to be imaginative. I think one of the things to do is have an intersect because you're always trying to build some conflict, right, and resolve from there. So try to find the intersection of two kind of people, two type of worlds, two type of environments that normally wouldn't be juxtaposed together is a great way to kind of start getting in there. Um, one thing we try not to start off with too much is look, a lot of people are looking for happy things to be uplifting. A lot of writers will start off with something, very, very terrible happening to a protagonist, and then, then over time they rebuild from there. But for our holiday programming, that's not always the best way because you might
Oh,
start losing your audience in the first part of it, and there has to be conflict, there
oh,
has to be
okay.
something going on. But we try not to be too depressed in the beginning as well. And I don't know, as far as certain traps, these things are harder than they look. So I think a lot of
Yes.
people, when they
Yeah.
start, they go, I can do that. That's easy. And then they start having notes of the network and they actually realize that the networks are demanding. There's a lot of people that want to make sure these don't seem very interesting and everything has to be well motivated. We can't have characters changing objectives for no really good reason. If anything, they should always have a very similar objective and are always fighting for something. And usually a sign that something has lost its way is when a character is changing their objective for no reason. Um, and at the end of the day, A and B want something quite different, and by the end, that should be a little bit more aligned, or they both help each other get what they need.
When you said a minute ago, the you want to make sure the character has doesn't change their objective. Do you mean
Yeah, so if the
change their
character is
goal?
looking to, yeah, that I would say a goal. Some people use the same thing. What's the want of the character? Are they looking for a home that works for them? Are they looking for a relationship that's going to support them? Um, generally there's a need at the beginning of any story. Um, and for the most part, the underlying intention of that need shouldn't change, even if the physical need does.
Right.
Because maybe they want to have belonging, and at first they think this X element will give them belonging, but they discover it's actually Y. But they're always looking for
Right.
that belong, and that's
Right.
really important.
Right. Now, how do you find scripts? Do you tend to hire WGA writers or non-union writers?
We hire both. We like to find the best scripts, and sometimes the best scripts are written by WJ writers, and sometimes they're written by non-union writers.
Hmm.
And it just depends. Um, One can make the argument generally the batch of WAJ scripts is definitely overall better. Let's be honest.
Right. Right.
But we still have found some really lovely stories. And the other thing, it's we like also going the non-union route sometimes because it gives new writers voices
Right.
where they might
Right.
not have all the credits to join the WGA yet. And you always want to make sure that there's some way to shape young talent for them to get started and come in as well. And unlike a series, a movie is a great way to do that because if the script's
Right.
great, it will all be on the page before we kind of get involved and start it. It's much harder to do that in a series when you're hiring, some young writers that then
Right.
have to execute a script later under a showrunner, and you don't know if they're actually going to be able to execute well or not. So, I actually think movie scripts are a great, great way for a young writer to kind of break into the industry for that reason.
Good. Good. Now, what types of Christmas movie scripts is your company targeting for development? Are there specific themes or settings or characters you're focusing on?
Um, There isn't because one of the things that we try to do is have a Christmas slate that's a little diverse. And I feel like one of the ways we can pigeonhole ourselves is say, well, we're only going to do Christmas movies that have romance. We're only going to do Christmas movies where, family gets back together. I think that's a way to kind of make yourself very repetitive and not very interesting.
Right.
We are generally looking for that romance. We're generally looking for or family stories that really come home. Sometimes we do some veteran stuff. Sometimes we dabble in some fun themes like, baking or cooking or giving or charity. Sometimes the little things are a little bit more faith. But I think we like to have a diverse Christmas slate because that's going to give us the most opportunity. And every network is always looking for something a little different. Some networks are very wholesome. Some networks are a little edgier.
Right.
And so we need to have a slate that can program to all the networks. We generally have about 20 to 25 scripts in for Christmas in development at a time,
Wow.
with, a goal to eventually sell at least half of that. And we're very, very selective. So to give you an idea, we've already gone through 600 script submissions before we picked our 40 that we liked. And
Wow.
we're really big on finding the needles in the haystack. And we're very big on making sure we have lots of readers and that we really get through a lot of material so we can actually find the best. Um,
Wow.
it's not an easy process. It's a little tedious, but that's how we're going to find some great things. And then over time, you have relationships with certain writers that you just know are going to be able to execute a certain way. You develop a shorthand. That also helps as well.
Wow. 600 and 40 out of 600. Amazing. Good on you.
Yes, in
And
about
that's
18 to 24 months, the team collectively has read that many. Yes,
holy cow.
and
Oh
that's
my
just on the
gosh.
movie side. So yeah, we're
Oh,
busy.
yeah. Oh, yikes. Wow. Now, if you could give advice to your younger self about producing Christmas movies, what would it be?
So the process, it's at the end of the day, we try to get scripts from either other producers that we know, agents that we know, or directly from writers that we know. We actually don't take unsolicited submissions, sadly, because we don't ever steal someone's idea. But at the end of the day, a rom-com is two people fall in love, have a
Right.
misunderstanding, and then make up. So there's a lot of very similar themes, script to script and show to show and even movie to movie. And we just don't want someone to think that we stole something when we didn't and just create a problem. And
Right.
generally, if you go through someone through an agency or people that you're not really going to run into that issue. Uh, there are some really bogus, like we call it errors omissions, but these the claims that come out of nowhere, they're very rare. I mean, probably only dealt with two in my 140 plus time. And, obviously we didn't take it from them. We had developed it originally, but, someone can try to make a claim. We obviously have insurance
Oh,
for this too, but, we don't want to
oh,
deal with
wow.
that.
Right.
So I would say, a young writer does need to find some representation. The other problem is 90% of the scripts that come in from reps are not producible.
Oh,
And so 97 to 98% of the unsolicited submissions would just, so then it's just a really, really harder numbers game to find the good stuff. So I really
wow.
encourage young writers to help find representation, find managers or agents that are willing to work with younger writers and then have them start getting stuff up to us. It's not the only way to go. But just for our company, we just don't want to have a unsolicited submission issue.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. To wrap up, would you like to share any social media details so our audience can be updated about your work?
Oh, sure. Let's see. I'm bad on the socials, so I actually had to look up what our handles were before this. Obviously, someone else does it. We're just trying to get the company started, and we're in startup mode. But we do have an Instagram. It's at happy_accidents_media. We also have a LinkedIn, happy-accidents as well. And then you can always check up our website at happyaccidents.media. So thanks for having us, Karen.
Well, Eric, thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience. Thank you for coming on the Christmas Movie Screenwriter podcast today.
You're very welcome, and thanks so much for having us, Karen. You're just so lovely, and I hope that whatever we said today will help someone get their start and get going, because that's always the hardest thing. But look, another 5, 10 years down the road, you will have a foundation under your feet. It will feel so much better. We all
Yeah,
felt that nervousness when we first start, and it just takes a little time and a little effort and persistence, but everyone will get there as long as they have the drive and they do the work.
there you go. Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you for sharing everything, and
Thanks,
let's
Karen.
stay in touch. Bye bye. And now for my action checklist. I have 3 items for your action checklist from my interview with Eric. Number 1, perfect your script's core elements. Make sure your story has a central, intrinsic Christmas theme, ideally with a meaningful romance at its heart. Develop clear character objectives that remain consistent throughout the script. Create authentic emotional impact and meaningful character transformations that resonate with audiences. Number 2, stand out from the crowd. Avoid formulaic or overly depressing beginnings. Capture interest immediately with imaginative character pairings and fresh environments. Identify and amplify what makes your Christmas story unique, whether it's through setting, character, or a new twist on familiar traditions. And number 3, manage expectations and stay persistent. Recognize that producing Christmas movies isn't easy. And obviously, writing them isn't easy. Remain involved, attentive, and resilient. Keep refining your craft and learn from feedback to improve your scripts continuously. Well, that's the show. Thank you for listening. Show your support. Please give us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcasts. And for more great content, you can buy me a hot cocoa on Buy Me a Coffee. Just look for the page Christmas Movie and explore other inspiring podcasts and blogs on our website at christmasmoviescreenwriter.com. I'm your host, Karen McCann. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next Christmas Movie Screenwriter podcast. Bye.